Nobody wants to have children, and the ones with children wish they didn't have children.
I only have one kid because I don't enjoy being a mother. I love my son to death. Absolutely hate the responsibility of being his mom.
If you ain't got kids by now, don't have them. 10 out of 10 would not recommend this to nobody else. If I could go back in time and do it again, I wouldn't do it. I would pull out and goop run on the guts instead of in the guts. You know what I mean?
Kids are a huge responsibility. Everybody knows this. Whether you're an uncle, aunt, older sibling, you know how hard it is to raise a child. You've seen it. We see it. We see it every day. We see YouTube videos and movies and everything that shows us how tough it is to raise kids. We've never seen people publicly say that they wish they did have their kids, or if you don't have kids already, don't have no kids. I feel like a lot of the negative feedback is coming from, honestly, single parents. Either single parents or parents that are raising the child basically by themselves and they don't have any help from their counterpart. Because when it's a 50-50 type of relationship with raising a child, a parent is not as frustrated. And if that relationship is full of love, and if it comes from ideally a married couple, then I feel like that relationship, that I feel like raising that child is a little bit easier, and you might not hear like the negative feedback that you hear from people on the internet, which I believe are mainly people who's single. Now, my aspect on having kids, do I want to have kids? I honestly have no idea. If you would have asked me 5-6 years ago, I probably would have said, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna have kids. Now, I'm like, I don't really know. I don't like, with society, inflation, just the difficulty of raising a child. It's like, I don't really know if I want that in my life. I don't know where I'm going to be at in life, later on in my life. But it's like, as I get older, it's like I'm starting to realize, what things that I want to accomplish for myself. And I don't know if a child would fit that mold. Now, obviously, I would have to, find me a wife, ideally, that I'm going to be sharing this child with first, and then we can decide if we're going to have kids or not. But that's all up for debate. Basically, is what I'm saying. That's all up for debate. I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. I can say that I've had the luxury of being like a fairly new uncle. I do have a niece. My younger sister has a child, and I do get the experience of what it's like to be raising a child, as though I live in the household with my niece. And it's really giving me insight on, like, I kind of get like a preview. It's like how you get a movie preview. It's like I get a preview of what it's like to actually be raising a child, and it's not an easy thing at all. Some days I'm like, wow, this is tough. Like, when I'm on uncle duties and I'm watching her by myself, it's like parents gotta do this every day. Like, they poop every day, and I gotta feed them all day. Like, can't eat unless they gotta eat when I eat, and I gotta take a nap when they take a nap. It's like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I could see how a parent, especially when it's doing it by themselves, would be irritated and overstimulated and just done with it. Now, I think it's crazy to say, already being a parent, that I regret my kids. Like, publicly saying that on the internet, as if their child might not grow up one day and see that they said that, which is crazy. I can't imagine that child growing up and seeing something like that. I don't think we've ever seen people actually publicly say that they regret having their kids. And they'll wash it up with don't believe me, I love my kids to death, but I don't like being a parent. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. And it's like, wow, that's crazy that they really just regret having their kids. And it's so much more to it. It's just like, it's got to be like the right situation. If you have a child, first of all, you didn't have that child by yourself. So the person that you have a child with plays a very, very big part in how you feel about raising that child. It's not just the child himself. That person that you had a child with plays a huge part. And if that situation is, toxic, messed up, then your experience as a parent is going to be terrible, because that person that you shared this baby with is not playing their part, doing their role. So it's like everything falls on you. You're solely responsible for everything that's going on in that child's life. And of course you're gonna be overstimulated. Of course you're gonna be upset. Of course you're gonna like feel like you regret having your kids and things of that sort. And I'm pretty sure having a kid is an amazing thing, like an amazing feeling, like giving life to something that you created, you know. I feel like a lot of people have kids because they have like baby fever, but they don't have kid fever, you know, because that baby's gonna be a kid one day, you know. Then that kid is gonna be an adult, a young adult, and the young adult's gonna be adult. Blah blah blah. We know the story, but hardest part is that probably that baby stage and that kid stage, you know, when they're growing up. They need a lot of stuff and they need a lot of attention. It's just like a lot of care is needed in that stage as they're growing up, like the frustrating stage, you know. And that's the stage where you can get overstimulated, regret everything. I could see it on the other side as people who don't have kids. They're saying, I'm not having kids.
Not to brag, but what a time to be childless. I mean, I woke up at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, made coffee in silence, you know, and the only person screaming in my house was the espresso machine. You know, I scrolled for 2 hours, I ate leftover pizza for breakfast. No one judged me. You know, you can't buy that kind of freedom. I see parents out here running full marathons before 8 a.m., right? They're pushing strollers, they're packing snacks, they're negotiating with toddlers like it's a hostage situation. Okay, meanwhile, my biggest responsibility today is remembering to plug in my phone.
I understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see why people wouldn't want to have kids. Because at the end of the day, it's your life, right? If you have a kid, your life no longer becomes your life. It's all about that child from this point. You have to do what's in the best interest for the child. Not saying that your life is completely over, but for the time being, it kind of is, you know, because it's like everything you do, it's got to be around them. It's got to be centered around them. You can't do nothing without thinking of them first. Like, you cannot make a decision without thinking about them first. People with no kids don't have that problem. They can make decisions whenever they want. They don't have to consult with somebody. You really got to consult with two people if you're with the person that you had a kid with. Think about the person that you had a kid with. Then you got to think about the kid. Think about two other humans before you can make your own decision. I get where people coming from when they say they're never having kids, or telling other people that don't have kids already don't have no kids. And from a parent's view, everybody knows this. You can't pick your kids. You cannot pick how your kid's gonna come out. You could be raising a child that is terrible. They don't listen. They're bad. And, you know, obviously, you know, your parenting skills have a lot to do with it. But some kids are just negligent, don't listen. And they just, you know, they're just hard to raise because the household they're growing up in is just crazy or anything. And we mainly see an aspect of single mothers. Single mothers get it the worst. Obviously, there are some single fathers out there. But I think we all can admit that there are more single mothers, a lot more single mothers than there are single fathers. Raising these boys without a father is a very big deal. Daughters too is a very big deal. That could also play a part how the child acts, how the child functions. Like that's a key thing to why people struggle so much. Obviously, you know, people are going to continue to have kids, but I just hope they're doing it the right way. I hope when I have a child, I do it the right way. The act of creating a child is so powerful that a lot of people don't use their right mind. A lot of people will say, oh, I had a kid, but I didn't mean to. How did you have a kid and you didn't mean to? I don't understand. If you do what they call safe sex, chances are you won't have any kids. No, you just wasn't thinking when you had kids. You weren't thinking about the things that could come out of not being safe, not using protection. I feel like the people that have multiple kids by multiple different people and complain about how they don't like being a parent. 1, okay, cool. 2, okay, cool. But when we start getting to like 3 and 4, it starts to be like, well, I don't think we're learning our lesson here. It's kind of hard for me to feel sorry for somebody who keeps having these kids with different people and then complain about being a parent when you're sleeping with these different people. Either you have a bad taste of judgment in who you pick to have kids with, or you just have a bad taste in judgment in who you pick to have kids with. I do feel bad for that person, and I feel bad for the kid. It's like, you know, you kind of did that one to yourself a little bit. I mean, let's be honest here. But to wrap this video up, my overall thought process is this: don't have kids if you ain't ready for them. Just don't do it. No, there are a lot of things out here that can prevent us from having kids. Go get you a dog or something. You want a companion, go get you a dog. Maybe even a cat. I'm not really a cat man myself, but I know they're great companions. And they're self-sufficient. Go get you a pet or something, man. Don't go out here and have these kids, man, and jump in this hot water, cause that water hot. I know that water's hot. Appreciate y'all for watching, man. Make sure y'all like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Our last video is going crazy. I'm so happy for that. When I first started doing these videos, I didn't know how people were gonna react to them, but they seem to react to them pretty well. So I'm very happy with that. It's your boy Kel, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next lit video. Let's get it.